Before continuing to watch this video, please take a moment to read the message that you see on this video, since unfortunately this is a serious topic that has to be dealt with as soon as possible by any members included in this unfortunate event that has happened in their personal experience of being a part of this Minecraft community, Skyblock Network. Personally, it is highly unfortunate, first of all, for myself, that I have to go as far as to making a video specifically on this, but I personally feel that has been taken too far for certain reasons, and I'll tell you this from personal experience, okay? Generally, I want to say this though beforehand, any specific member of the community I still respect as a person. For any other professional relationship, unfortunately, they've done damage upon themselves that even if I wouldn't do anything, they would have still caused it upon them. But let's go into some details. So why am I making a video on this? Well, unfortunately, as we already may know, Skyblock Network has some staff issues, as we already know. I've already heard many experiences from many members, myself, explaining how some mods left the mod team, how some mods explained that they have to fall under bias, and how other mods, well, generally that's its own personal story. If they want to explain it, let them. If anyone wants to say it in the comments below, please do. But on a more general note, unfortunately, recently, I've personally taken the initiation to admit something needs to be changed. Not through messages at all. Because if you type an actual message in Discord, because this is happening on the Discord server, by the way, of Skyblock Network. If you type any message, anyone of the staff members especially can just look at you, and if they don't like what you say, they will assume that you're wanting to start drama. And it confuses me. Why would they go immediately into thinking you want to start drama? It's like the most immediate instinctive fallback plan of if ever you don't like someone saying something, you have to stop them by saying, hey, stop doing drama. And there is even some instances that some staff members would be like, hey, you don't say this because you're starting drama, don't say anything anymore because you're starting drama. And then everyone else would start looking around and being like, how the heck is that starting drama though? And if anyone, and if enough people would look at it, enough members would look at it and say, how the heck is it starting drama? The staff member walks away. Because they're outnumbered. Like it happened to me a few days ago. Alright? I know what I've done the first time. I just wanted to know from them if they would have been honest and sincere, and to let me know what I have done wrong. Because I know that doing wrong, what I've done, was... Okay, let's go to that story. So, there are some times that I look on the server suggestions for Minecraft, or for their Discord, who asks for something to be done that a lot of people either could vote for, a few people could vote for, or only one person could have typed it, and immediately there would be an immediate response by a staff member to their message. I'm personally looking at the response of whoever responds to that player immediately within minutes, and I would look at them stating what they would state. There would be some cases that some people would ask, you know, can you, like, let's say, make it easier to get, like, vote crate keys or something. I don't know, just a random example. To say, oh, can you, like, make it easier to get vote crate keys? Or even, like, can you make it easier to make cosmetic crate keys, you know? Or if you ever participate in an event or something. And a typical professional response would be an either yes or no, and with the following reason. To be like, yes, we could think about it, so let's do it, type of thing. Or to be like, no, I'm sorry, because of so reason that it would make it unfair for players, or that there would be too many cosmetic keys, and like whatever spawner or vote keys or whatever would have to like come up, it would be unfair for those. And then, it would be left at that. But I took the initiation to keep looking in the responses given by the staff members to certain players. And there was a once upon a time that I saw a few weeks ago, a response that personally offended me in a professional way. Because first of all, I can't bring up the message now, because of course I got banned from the Discord server, and I'll explain that to you in a moment, which I kind of find, nonsense, but still. So I'm looking in those suggestions, and I can tell you right now, it was not something I would take professionally. I would take it as pretty much professional disrespect, okay? And I wouldn't just take anything as disrespect to be like, oh yeah, this is disrespect, and just a person I hate, and no. I wouldn't just act upon a reaction without a given legitimate reason. That's just me. So, reading their message, the best I can remember from off the top of my mind, this was 3 weeks ago, by the way, I read a message pretty much stating, no, this was tested by the admin himself, and please go back to this chat room. Whoa. Okay. Calm down, first of all. We're just giving a suggestion, and you're like, oh no, this was done by this person himself. Don't bother us about it again. Whoa. Okay. There are new members joining every day. There are new members who are playing the server every day. They want to ask a question, make a suggestion, and wonder if this event or item or whatever situation could be made possible. And immediately they get personally attacked in a sense of being like, as an example, let's say I would own a Minecraft server and it was pretty much hard to get, let's say, netherite. And there would be one member who, let's say, would ask, hey, can you make netherite like more easier to get in your server? And upon a majority vote, depends if I want to make it or not, I will listen to everyone and I will give a statement. Hopefully this was done the most first time possible by any staff member, especially if this was done by them numerous times for them to have gone to that extent, for them to be like, I'll think about it, like if it's possible or not, and then we'll come back, with an update. After months later of new players joining, playing, having fun, chatting, making new friends, and so on, they will all end up making about the same suggestion of, hey, can you make netherite like more popular? Hey, can you make netherite more popular? And then I would take upon the immediate response to say, no, I've tested the server myself. It would make it unfair for players. Now please, go back to whatever chat. Don't bother me. I don't want to hear from you. Go back to this, go back to that. Wow. Personally, I cannot be that way professionally. It would hurt me. But professionally, I'm saying this. Besides professionally, even personally, because you're saying it from heart. And I don't understand how staff members at this point can say that from heart. To basically be like, bug off, don't buzz me, don't bother me, because, it was done by a higher up himself. So what? Because someone believes that there could be a fault in, let's say, the opening crate system, to be like, hey, /open crates with this key, and there's a chance to get this, there's a chance to get that, like there's a chance to get a cosmetic, there's a chance to get a spawner crate, there's a chance to get, points even, and some people will think, they get a better chance of getting one thing rather than getting something else. Like, let's say a 4% spawn rate for spawner keys, or like 20% chance for a cosmetic key, or a 50% chance for 1,000 in-game cosmetic points. If it was tested by the owner himself, first of all, I'd be glad if it was tested, not just sent right away like Rockstar Games with GT Online contents, just being like, this car looks good anyways, just send it, no one will ever notice. I mean, That would be something bad on its own. But I'm glad at least an owner is taking initiative to test something out. But then soon after, if someone would be asking or willing to wonder why, hey, I'm trying to do this and I'm not getting as much of a chance as it says it would, and immediately, the immediate response from a staff member would be like, no, this will never be changed, and this was tested by himself, please don't bother me again, and go back to general. Holy crap. Okay, I'm sorry for asking. Jesus. If someone ever gave a suggestion, and they get that immediate response, would you think of making another suggestion afterwards? Would you be safe to make another suggestion without being attacked for making the suggestion? I mean, I personally would be like, okay, so if I make a suggestion, I can't do this. Fine, I won't do it again. I'll let the server be the way it is, and I'll just play it normally the way it is. And if I have something wrong with it, well, guess what? Here comes the second part. If I have something wrong that goes in the server, let's say a member is, using hacks or whatever, you'll make a report either in the help chat, which is, by the way, even better to make a report in the help chat that exists in the Discord server, rather than having to go on Google to open the website, to log in, to be like, oh, I'm not a robot, so I can log in, to then somehow manage your way to find the forums and confidential file and whatever the heck you have to go through to say, hey, I found this player hacking, can you please... It takes too long. So I'm glad there's going to be a help chat to give an immediate answer or an immediate report to say, hey, this person's hacking. And then finally, when you make a report on it, whoever is online to pay attention would be there to say, thanks for the report, or I'm on my way. Great. At least there's that to be taken care of. But let's say there would be someone who was mistakenly banned. Good example. Someone would be mistakenly banned because one of their friends decided to say, oh, I'm just going to troll you, let's see how the server members react. And the person's going to look so fishy and being like, oh yeah, we pre-mined this diamond, we mined so much, a big area, let's say. They could set themselves up to say, we're going to make a huge arena, and to be like, oh look, there's going to be diamond here, there's going to be diamond here, and we're going to put some one piece of ore diamond there. And then their friend is going to be like, hey look, my friend's x-raying. And then they're going to mine through whatever they have to mine, just to be like, oh yeah, there's x-ray, oh yeah, and there's diamond here. They're not even going to be x-raying, because they pre-placed it already. They know where this stuff is. They can even save the coordinates for all I care. They'll even send it, and the mod's going to look, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, he's x-raying. And then, what happens then? Player gets banned. Okay, I'm not banned off the micro server, by the way. At least not yet. I wouldn't know if they would take it that far. But I would explain about that later. So the person gets banned. Now let's say this player is well known by many other members, or well known by a staff member, or especially well known by a staff member. Do you know how fast their appeal will be appealed? Their ban appeal will be appealed? Especially if their close buddy was a mod. It will take 10 seconds, like I've heard once. There was once a person who got banned for, what was it? X-raying, I think? Something like that? Or some griefing? I think it was griefing, actually. So someone got banned for griefing. But because his friend was a mod, and that person made an appeal. I don't even think they managed to make an appeal, but they literally said within 10 seconds of that 7-day ban, they immediately get unbanned. And there was no other ban that got shot out afterwards. Do you want to reconsider that choice of thinking, wait, if this person broke a rule and we're unbanning them 10 seconds later, isn't that kind of sus? But hey, that's because they're friends with the mod. But if you're anyone else, and you're just like a new player who managed to have played Minecraft for so long, something like me, who has managed to know how to find gold, how to find redstone, how to find iron, how to find diamond even the fact that I would master the idea of how to easily find chunks of netherite within seconds, only to get banned for it, or whatnot, for x-raying. I'm just gonna be there like, hey, I'm not x-raying, I'm gonna make an appeal, and I'm just a new player, by the way. And I'll make an appeal, And within minutes, hours, weeks, or even days, someone's going to respond with, sorry, we have strong proof to say that you've done this, so we're not going to appeal you. Okay, great. Thank you, I guess. Guess I'm going to wait, and thanks for ruining my motivation, I guess, right? Which is highly unfortunate, by the way. Now, the main topic of this video, okay? There's a lot of wrongs that I personally have heard much more than I've experienced, and specifically this community. And it makes me wonder, because recently they made a merge, a major update that brought both this server and their sister server Performium together as one community, in which, by the way, the title of their update, called Better Together, is actually a copy-named ripoff of Hypixel, in which, by the way, believe it or not, most of the staff members who are on Skyblock Network, or even the ex-staff members who are on Skyblock Network, or even some owners, or some admins, or even many, many players on Skyblock Network would end up playing Hypixel much more often than their own server. Makes me wonder, right? Either that's a high coincidence, or they just know that Hypixel is striving to its near success, that it can't be any more successful than it is already, that copying ideas off of Hypixel wouldn't be a bad idea to grow our server, right? Especially if we have undercover players who actually work under our favor and our command to go into a popular server to look at any ideas that may seem or deem appropriate, since they have a new Skyblock, server that they can copy ideas off. And Skyblock Network is, by the way, mostly Skyblock, which, by the way, on its own note, the only servers that do open every so often is just the same Skyblock server with copy-pasted plugins and told, oh, now it's updated to this world, and whoever had this world previously, well, you can join this server. And everyone over time is going to start going, this is a new server, this is a new server. If it gets too new and it becomes repetitive, they're going to start quitting. If it's old enough, but it can be better, that's also going to start dying. So there's anyways going to be an even point and one point that's going to say, hey, this server at least seems decent, there's less bugs, and there's this, and so on, so fine, let's, go here, right? But, anyways, besides that, so coming back to the story of why I know I have been personally warned the first time by someone on Skyblock Network's Discord server, because they have said the following. It has said this: you were warned in SBN for no general rudeness. When am I rude to anyone? When am I ever flipping someone off? I can't just do it for no reason. Unless I'm joking. I mean, sure, then I'll tell them I'm sorry, I'm joking, but that's it. No general rudeness. If you have issues with staff, please take it to support tickets. Okay. Let me just say this. There have been how many times that I've heard from players that either few times that someone would make a support ticket to appeal for a warn, appeal for a ban, or appeal for something that they've done wrong. Even if they say they know they've done wrong and won't do it again, how many times have they been denied nonetheless? Because, oh, we have strong proof that you've done it, and we believe that you're going to do it again. Basically saying we don't want you back anymore. Upon doing it the first time, even if it's accidental, we don't want you back anymore. Okay. Thank you, I guess. Okay. Please take us support tickets. I mean, look. Let me just say this. Being very honest, besides the fact of you taking any problem to support tickets, despite the fact if you get denied, appealed, accepted, or you're responded to but never bothered again, here's the thing. Don't you agree at that point that if you address yourself into a confidential support ticket, that you give them the right to manipulate your ticket in any way possible that they wish? And I can believe that that would be true, specifically off of this major reason that happened back in July of 2020, sometime around there, the summer of last year. Okay? There was once upon a time that I've made a friend there, who, by the way, only was for a few months, but that's besides the point. I've made friends with them. I've made a house for them. And because they had a brother who also played on the same server, got themselves banned for X-raying, I believe. Okay, so they got banned, and their ban went as far as the IP banning them. So that friend that I had got banned too because they were within the same IP address. The friend, of course, tried appealing, and they tried appealing for their brother too. That I'm not sure about. That I won't go into detail about. But meanwhile, as they're banned, I'm walking around that place that I was helping build for them, only to see that who they called a close, cuddle buddy friend, ended up starting to grief that plot. And I'm just there looking at it through my laptop through 10 FPS, trying to capture the most proof I could possible, because I'm like, what the heck is this? Why are they doing this? So I didn't go right away into sending a report to the general help server of Skyblock Network's Discord. Instead, I was snapping photos of who the members were, just to make an official report ticket to the forums. Now here's the funny part. I take the photos of each and every name. There was 6 names, including one mod, who I won't mention for general safety reasons, but there was one mod and 6 other members who were around helping, not the mod herself, but 6 other members were griefing the heads that were placed in front of the house. I took photos of all those members involved. I sent it to the forums. The only thing that I was told in response was, "Thank you for the report, we will look into it." What I find out within a few days later, that friend that I had, by the way, had to go through the full ban because, they weren't appealed properly because, they did this, so you're not going to get appealed because, we don't want to. But then I made the report on specifically the 2 members who were griefing, and I even made a report on the mod because they were staring at them griefing for minutes after minutes after minutes. My laptop runs on 10 FPS, but their computers could run at 200, 300, 500, 1000, doesn't matter how fast. That even the mod can still catch up with it because the server runs at its own pace. Doesn't matter who's running at what speed, what performance, at what pace, whatnot. The game will run off of the server speed, since that would be multiplayer. Otherwise, everyone would lag like a crazy mofo. But still, I made a report on especially the mod as well. And what I find out, besides the given, thank you for your report, and then my ticket was left alone and closed for future reply. By the way, it was really close for future reply. Finally, I look in through the Discord server, and that mod got promoted from junior mod to mod. It makes me wonder, why would that happen? And I was looking through what happened, through my own evidence, through my own reports, through everything that I've basically seen within a few days, and I came to the general conclusion, through my own general thought, that mod was either there to help the person grieve, so that when finally a report would go through, as I've said before, if you make your own confidential report into Skyblock Network, then the higher-ups have any possible way to manipulate your report any way they'd want to, especially if a mod within the report was reported. So I believe that mod that got reported had to end up making a story to support their right, I'd say, just to support, their self, to say, hey, I was there to, stop them, but they kept going, so finally I gave them a warning, and whatever BS happened. The player didn't even get banned, by the way, but they could make any bull story, whatever. I wasn't even there, so I can't assume the most for you. But they made such a bull story to make themselves promoted. And whatever report I made, regardless of whatever I was reporting, ended up being weak. and therefore disregarded, because I was just a member, and I've never been a mod on SBN. And at this rate, how my character is compared to what the general staff is required to be, I cannot be that Skyblock Network mod, because I have too much of a generous heart that if I ever were to make a legitimate report, chances are I would probably get taken off the mod team. I'm just being like dead honest there. Like, you have to be, as most people already believe, you have to be very biased in whatever you have to be, to then stand up for yourself, to be like, oh no, I was just saying for this reason. So they'd be like, oh, okay, you're fine. But if you ever make something you can't stand up for yourself about it, get taken off. There's even some people who applied to be a mod member because, oh hey, my boyfriend's a mod member, I'm going to be mod with them too. Or hey, my girlfriend's a mod, so I'm going to be mod with them. And they get accepted into the mod team. I wonder why. But still, if you make a report into their system, they have any way to manipulate your report in any way they could, especially if a mod is included in that report, that they could even manipulate that report to say, oh no, this never happened, and this happened, and this came to conclusion, so we don't care about your report anymore, goodbye. And that's it, you're ditched, and you're gone, you're completely neglected for the rest of eternity. So, coming back to this moment, if you have issues with staff, please take it to support tickets. Yeah, I had an issue with that staff member to say that they allowed the player to grief for minutes upon minutes upon minutes non-stop, doing nothing to stop them, only for me to realize a few days later they get promoted rather than demoted. That personally offended me, and that told me if I ever make a future report on a staff member, it would only promote them to say good job for doing this to a member. It offends me. And they will not disclose anything to you because they know if they would say anything too much that you can connect two and two together, then you can counter against them to say, hey, you said this, why is this happening? So then they would be locked, shut down. That's why they always come to the conclusion to say, we do not disclose the makings of our server, please move on from the topic. That's another fallback makeshift story that they have to give to someone to not expose the truth behind the dark side of being a moderator or a staff member on SBN. And it's very sad. I'm honestly really sad that they have to be that way. I'm very sad. So going back to this point, if you have a problem with staff member, please take a support ticket. That's BS. You will go into their domain, and upon entering their domain, with only you and all staff members included, they can manipulate you in any way you want. They can even tell you you're a garbage piece of trash. That I hope they wouldn't even go that far. They can say anything that then they would say, oh, don't ever make a report again. Which, by the way, they can indirectly say this by believing that if we think that your report ticket is, biased or full of lies, we can just believe that you're just making spam in our forums and we're going to prevent you from using our website indefinitely. So going into their website to make a support ticket is completely bull. And I completely would disencourage anyone from using it. Because if you do that, they will manipulate whoever you are in their own domain to make them believe that they're either, you're just making bull up just randomly just because, you don't like the person. It's very unfortunate. So they said this finally afterwards. If you have issues with staff, please take it to support tickets. Continuing to cause issues and try create drama may end up with your removal from this Discord. First of all, I know I've been using emote reactions to call rude on how personally I believe that moderator responding to those suggestions were rude, because how would you feel if you asked me, hey, can I go to the store to buy apples? And I'll be there to tell you, no, we have an apple tree in our backyard, don't bother me again. Okay, I'm sorry. You fall back, you push yourself back, you're like, okay, I'm sorry I bothered you. Don't you believe that that's rude? So generally, they address something against me because they know that they've done it themselves. That means I took the warn off of a mod in the server for having general rudeness against members. And it only makes sense if you think about it. Because they were rude against someone, like I've explained a few seconds ago in that example. Wouldn't that be rude? Even if it's not saying you're an idiot for making such a statement, please don't speak about it. Just because I didn't say it literally doesn't mean it literally has to be that way. I can be indirect to be like, no, this was done by this person, please go back here. The person only made the suggestion once in one message, and there was absolutely no conversation, which, by the way, they do not let a conversation in the suggestions, which I completely understand, because it would just flood the channel with however many suggestions, which is, how much conversation would be on to say, yeah, but I don't want this to happen, or this has to happen, or whatnot. So, of course, there's going to be a conversation that's going to be cut from there, only meant for suggestions. So, from what I've seen in the recent messages, there were just suggestions made, only responded by very few moderators, in which one of them, I won't pick out their name specifically because I hope they know who they are, and they will look back into their actions that they've done, and I hope that they upgrade from it, apologize for it even, and move on from having general rudeness, only to take that onto another member, just to take it off their shoulders. I'm sorry, but that's not professional anymore. That's personal. If you take your personal issue that you've caused yourself, that I have called you on through reactions, just to blame it on me that I'm being rude to you for you being rude to someone, to let the weight off of yourself to say, I'm good, I'm sorry, but that is complete bias. Literally, if I can show you the text that was given, that was written in that channel, I would have done so right now, but unfortunately today I got banned for a different reason, which I know could be my fault. In its own explanation that I will mention in a few moments. But to call me on general rudeness for you being rude against a member for making a suggestion once without a elongated conversation that dates back to 1994's novel of Shakespeare, just to call them, I'm sorry. That I cannot accept personally. That is why I use reactions, letter R, letter O in blue, letter O in red, and letter D, to spell rude, with an expressionless face next to it. And then they call me on creating drama, like I've stated. If you have issues with staff, please take it to support tickets, continue to cause issues, and try to create drama. You can create drama using reactions? That is personally what I have found bull. And that is why I've always picked on that specific point directly. Because first of all, how can you start drama through reactions, in which, by the way, you can use up to 20 different emotes of any emote, whether it's animated or not, per message? How can you start drama in one message given by that staff member? How can you start drama with reactions in general? I'm sorry, but that's complete bias. So then continues afterwards, try and create drama may end up with your removal from this Discord. Okay, thank you for stating that point, but how can you start drama through reactions? It's complete nonsense. So then I continue on, later on in the day, when I woke up, because I got this during when I was sleeping, and I woke up 6 hours after I've received that warn, to then try to understand from someone why I have gotten warned. And the immediate response that I got was, we don't want to disclose it here, of course, for the reasons being that if they disclose information that anyone could look at, they can point at it and say, hey, you said this, why are you saying this if you said the same, or if you said something completely different to this person or something. That's why they don't want to disclose that specific information. Even if they had to DM it, I wouldn't mind, but they couldn't be that professional, because again, they said if you want to know or if you want to appeal for, the warn, you can do so in our staff ticket right here. And they sent me a link to go into the support ticket, in which, by the way, I've stated earlier in this video, if you go into their domain of their confidential support ticket, they can do anything they want to manipulate you for being you and saying this is what you've done, or they won't even say this is what you've done. They're just gonna take your ticket, close it down, and just let it off like that, or they're gonna offend you personally to the point of your existence to be like, hey, you've done this, we don't like it, just don't bother us. Or even going as far as, you're annoying us, we don't like you, we're gonna take you off our farms indefinitely, and they ban you. They have any manipulation and any right upon you entering their domain to play with you in any way they want. That is why I didn't want to take it to that domain. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna make a reason to say that, I was just, warned for booping in the account because, the server was completely full of boops since, like, a year ago, in which, by the way, they use that term booping for, like, patting someone's nose with a finger or whatever they would do as booping. I don't know. But heck, I mean, it's COVID. I guess they don't mind, physical touching against one another in chat rooms, right? I mean, the virus exists out there and not in devices. I mean, yeah. But still, the fact that I've already known from experience that if you make a confidential report to them, that they can use it in any way they want against you without even taking the initiation to believe that they're at fault. I'm sorry, but they don't want to take anything at fault. Because why would they, first of all? They've received issues many times per day that a few things they want to take care of, but finally it comes to the end of the day. It's like working a typical work shift of, let's say, 12 hours being a cashier. The first 3 hours, fine, you're going to take the orders, you're going to send it, and you're going to, be free, move on with your life. But then at the end, you're finally going to start getting bored. You're finally going to start being like, okay, just get it over with, and you're finally just going to slop your job until it's done finally because, at the end of the day, you've done right, So why would they do the same thing? Why wouldn't they do the same thing? So, that's when it comes down to motivation. That is why every time I would go in the chat room to pray for SBN's motivation. Because personally, I believe that it is completely dead. It's like the point of no return almost. Because if they go as far to saying, oh, if you have an issue, go to the support ticket, or if someone just says anything against the server in which it will anyways be true facts at this point, it would be like, please don't start drama in our server. Continuing to do so may get you banned. Okay. May get you muted. Okay. Great. You're denying my right to free speech. And that's another thing that's wrong with the server. They deny your right to free speech. And that, unfortunately, is a major constitutional law against a person's rights to deny their right to free speech. That even if they would clear it up by saying, please make a confidential support ticket if you believe someone's doing something wrong, again, as I've stated, if you go into their personal domain, which no one else but you and the higher-ups can see, they can manipulate it in any way possible that they wish, that can only be stuck there and nowhere else. They won't take it on Discord because anyone can see Discord. They won't take it on Facebook because literally anyone can see it on Facebook. They won't take it on Twitter. They won't take it anywhere else. They will take it in their personal domain, in their ticket, to say, please be free to say what you want so we can listen to you. Oh wow, you're welcoming. Okay, I'm going to say all this. You're going to say whatever facts you have to say, whether true, maybe coincidentally made up. That could be true, even if it's a lie, so what? They still have to admit what's true, what's not. In general, they will not admit what they do wrong. And they will see your ticket, they will take it down if they don't like it, because, oh, we know we're doing wrong, but, why should we deal with this today? Why? And that is why, over time, the server started degrading for months. And that is why the Better Together event, the updates happened between SBN and Performium, because there was many more players in Performium that at that time than Skyblock Network. And that's why merging both servers together finally made it look like there's going to be as much players on Performium as there is on Skyblock Network. So whoever is on Performium who's never heard of Skyblock Network, or whoever is on Performium who's too lazy to disconnect to join SBN, can now finally join SBN. But who wants to join SBN if this biased BS happens every single day that I've explained already? I mean, it's only logic if you use your brain. So back to that same story. I've always been explaining how I've booped an account that flew months away because no one wanted to admit to me. Instead, they first of all said, please make a ticket here, otherwise don't bother us about it, basically. Something rude that I've personally taken rude, because, why wouldn't they be rude, since already they've already called me in a warrant on general rudeness, so they have any right they want to call me on rude, or for me to be rude, or whoever, so that if I ever do be rude, or if they're rude, they can say, oh, but he was rude initially on this point. Okay, thank you very much, I guess. Still, so I kept picking on the fact that because they wouldn't be, honest with me, and they had no motivation to let me know about it, the response that I got did not feel warming or welcoming at all. Especially that it was included in it, please make a support ticket. So I was like, you know what? This happened. Alright, thank you very much. I don't want to bother about it anymore. So I left it at that. Of course, the mod there tried to continue bringing that story up against me, but I told them I would have literally swore at them, but because it was a PG server, and swearing is against the server's rules, I basically said, yeah, I get it, I understand, thank you, now please leave me alone. It took like 2 times before the mod finally left me alone. And then later on, during that conversation, because recently, a while ago, my uncle passed away, a week ago, I brought that up in the chat room, and just the day before, because that warrant happened literally the day after my rabbit passed away, which still hurts me till this moment. But what hurts me even more is that I brought that up in that server with that specific staff member who was literally there at the moment speaking against me, starting drama, quote unquote, who didn't even give 2 freaking shits about the fact that my personal animal, my personal pet, has passed away. They didn't care at all. And that hurts even more than anything that has ever happened in the past 2 years of me being a part of this community. The fact that your loved one passed away, that you brought it up because, this problem has arisen, and now you have to deal with this, even though I know personally create drama. How the hell can you create drama through server reactions? It still confuses me till this day. Sure, if you show the flip-off bird or whatever, sure, that is general rudeness right there, because that emote is not allowed. But calling someone on rude for being rude is a and having your reactions removed and being warned for no general rudeness. That's basically a way of saying we don't want to hear you and we don't want to give a care about what you have to say against us, because we want to believe that it's against us to make us look bad. So please don't speak about it again. And they throw a warn at me, and I'm like, bruh, I have to deal with the passing of my rabbit, now I have to deal with this. I wasn't able to sleep until hours later, and then I wake up finally, only to get this warn to happen. And when I spoke about the death of my rabbit and uncle, after repeating it 5 times during the conversation in which I've said, this account got booped and, finally I got warned for it because the account came back to report me, finally, after getting booped so far away. Oh, but the mod didn't want to give a crap about that. What they cared more about was issuing the fact that our report was correct. And you have nothing to say. That's exactly what they said. They said, we believe that our report is correct. They first of all said, if you feel something's wrong, make a report ticket. Then finally they said after that, what I've said just, a few moments ago, it's only coming in and out, honestly, ever so often. if you want to look back a few seconds ago, go ahead, because this is just flipping on and off. This is speaking from mind. But still. Then finally, I again spoke about the passing of my rabbit uncle 5 times, and all they cared about was the fact that they told me, like, we just care more about the fact that you got warned and that we're correct about it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I completely forgot about, like, for a few seconds until now. They're like, our report's correct. So if you want to make an appeal on it, I'm just saying this because I don't see the chat anymore, but they're like, if you want to make a appeal on it, well, basically you can't, because our statement is correct. So, hey, what did I do? Oh, we're not going to state it here. So, you guys don't even want to be honest. So then I started stating that I booped an account that came back 2 months later to report me for being, rude against them, to poke them so far away. And what still hurts, on top of all this, is the fact that I brought up the passing, that even a member, that a literal one member, there was that member, 2 other people who walked away doing their own thing, me and that mod in the chat, where finally, they were like, please don't start drama, and I was like saying something, probably about the death of my rabbit or something, and then finally they said, please don't start drama in here, which again is their fallback way to stopping a conversation that they don't like. That when they finally brought it up, 3 people came in and they're like, how the hell is he starting drama? Soon after, literally soon after, when they were all literally confused as to how the hell I was starting drama, the last resort that mod did was pull the anyway card and walk away. Afterwards, we continued a conversation about, the passing of them, and they're like, oh, well, dude, I'm sorry that you lost them. But I still didn't hear any sympathy from any mod till this moment. And it makes me wonder, is this community actually welcoming? Or is this community just full of mods who are biased? A few days later, I brought up the passing again, and the fact that they cared more about warning me for something that I can personally say that I wouldn't do. Because why the hell would I be rude to someone? You could ask a few friends of mine, how do I have the heart to be rude to someone? And I'm only saying this in proof of saying that they were rude against someone, so it was easy for them to call me on being rude against the member for being rude against the member, the staff member to be rude against that one member, because, the weight is lifted off my shoulder. Now I can blame it on someone else, so they're rude on that member directly. Okay, I'm safe. Why? So a few days later, I keep bringing up the fact, I'm gonna look in the help chat. I'm looking at help chat, and I don't see a speck of motivation of the staff members with any normal member that asks for help. They're just like, just do this and, be done with it. Or, sorry, we can't help you with this. Or there was even one line that I've seen that literally called out in a shining star that said lack of motivation. That I literally pointed at it, that literally I said to it saying, oh, that's a lack of motivation. If I could come back to it again, I would. But unfortunately, I'm banned for 7 days, so I'll come back. That I will go into in a few moments. That finally, I'm like, lack of motivation, rip the motivation in this BN. And I kept praying in chat for it every single day. Finally today, I'm having a conversation with someone, generally about a general topic, in which unfortunately it came out to a reference to SBN. And finally, because I brought a reference to SBN, that same mod member that told me, oh, we think your report is correct, so you have no say against us, they finally were like, hey, please stop speaking hate against us like you think we didn't do correctly. We didn't do our job correctly. First of all, I wouldn't say that you didn't do your job correctly, but I cannot say that you did do your job correctly. It's like saying yes and no, because maybe there wasn't another way at that moment to deal with it, since you have your own personal stress issues that you just want to get rid of it the fastest possible. But at the same time, why would you call someone on drama to then warn them a second later? It's like playing Ready or Not as a SWAT member, where you see anyone in a restaurant or something, you see the guy, you press F to say hands up or something, but you see the guy running, you shoot them. And then you look, oh, he has no gun and he was just a civilian. That's basically what happened to me. I got shot before any questions were asked. And it personally offended me. And I was like, you know what, I don't want to bother with it. The mod came into the chat to bother me about it. And I tried to let them away from it, to say, just don't bother me about it. I know you have no motivation. I want to say directly, you don't have any motivation. Just don't bother me about it until you're finally motivated to be an actual staff member. Finally, a few moments later, whatever conversation I was having with someone about San Andreas, Need for Speed Most Wanted, saying, oh yeah, next year is going to be 2006, and then I was like, oh yeah, Need for Speed Most Wanted came out in 2005, oh that's a relief, and then the guy was like, oh yeah, and the game Need for Speed Carbon is coming out this year too, and then San Andreas coming in 2004, next thing I see, I was banned from SBN for 7 days. And it said the following: continued negativity on the Discord after being told multiple times to address your concerns. Take this time to think about your actions before returning. First of all, let me read that again. Continued negativity on the Discord after being told multiple times to address your concerns. Take this time to think about your actions before returning. Sure, I'll take the time to think about what I've done. Personally, I can say this. I'm sorry for calling out everything wrong in the server. But if it keeps going on every single day of everyone's life, that even they get sick of it to the point that they even start ditching SBN because of it, then it goes to a personal level that I still have the care to bring up what is wrong in the server in this video, specifically with the staff team. That is why some staff members have even left the staff team and made their own server. That literally the owner of that server on his own said that he promises to never make any issue similar to that of SBN. That's why he's making his own server, pays his own server, and is so small because, you know, people believe that because he was a mod at that time, because he unfortunately was caught in the crossfire every so often, being the staff member that he was, whether good or not, that they think that one day or another, he's gonna crossfire and say, I'm gonna be this type of SBN mod that you've never seen before, and he's gonna ban whoever the heck he feels like. It doesn't give two shits about whoever has to say anything, because that's SBN, right? I mean, poor guy literally tried making his own server just for it to be as low as it is now, mostly because of the reputation that was set upon his back as a bounty that was caused upon him by other staff members of the community, caused by the community, caused by everything else, caused back onto his own shoulders. Poor guy. And that's just personally why I feel like I cannot be a mod there. I can be told, oh, please become a mod member. Oh, are you going to apply for mod on SBN? Are you going to do this? Honestly, no. Because if I become a mod, I will immediately have a set target on my back to be picked on, either by staff members or either by members. That is why I'd rather stay underground, undercover. And now I cannot be undercover anymore, calling out whoever I believe is wrong as members, because even the staff themselves is worse in the way scenario situations that they are at the moment. So they finally said I was banned from SBN for 7 days, continued negativity on the Discord after being told multiple times. First of all, I didn't want the mod to continue the conversation. I didn't even pay attention to the mod anymore. I was finally in my own conversation with some guy with like a vehicle as his profile picture to, you know, talk about San Andreas, Need for Speed Most Wanted, only to get banned. How did I continue the conversation even though they kept continuing the conversation? Again, it comes back to the same point. If a staff member causes a problem in the server against a member, they can easily manipulate in their own favor to say, hey, but they caused it initially because of whatever reason that has been done. In which finally would lead, if they ever had the brain to think, they would finally lead back to the point of thinking, oh yeah, but this mod member did this to this member, but then because he called that mod member on something wrong that he did, that he could anyways say I'm sorry, or anyways change the topic, or say, you know, this answer instead. No, we can't, because we feel we're in the right. If you cannot understand the wrongs that you do, then I'm sorry. But what would be the point of anyone ever wanting to come back to this server with the way that it's going? I am so sorry that I have to bring it up like this. But seriously, the bias that's going on every day of everyone's life. Anything wrong that goes on, you'll be criticized for what you're doing wrong instead. If you ever are the most perfect member even, you will still be picked on for anything wrong that you've done. And I have continued negativity, by the way. When the mod member joined the conversation to pick at me to say whatever they had to say, only for them to finally ban me to say, oh, you continued negativity. Yeah. Thank you very much for continuing the conversation that I wanted to ditch years ago. Unfortunately, they kept bringing it back on me every 5 minutes of my life today, only to finally ban me for 7 days. Thank you very freaking much. Thank you very much. Jeez. If anyone has anything to say about their personal experience of Skyblock Network, please message it in the comments below. Whatever story you have to say, even if it has to be in a video that you will upload as unlisted, just to then post that video in the comments below. If the ever comment gets blocked for, let's say, self-promo or whatnot, I will still allow the comment to go through if I see that it's as being related to this video. But besides that, if you have any experience, just don't speak crap about an individual, because I've only been speaking crap about the community's general bias. Because I can say this right now, and I'll say this again from heart. I respect the people for who they are. If ever that moderator, staff member, would come up to me in DMs and want a conversation, I'll still have a conversation with them. I can anyways bring up the fact that, hey, you know, this happened on SBN, right, or something, because, you know, it's like speak about Hypixel. Oh, you can't speak about Hypixel because there are mod members there who are gonna, you know, hear about this, because, you know, this guy, I mean, sure, yeah, okay, great, fine. Thank you for that conversation, I guess. But DMs is its own thing. DMs in Discord you can mention in its own way, but they refuse to go into DMs because they know that it can be seen publicly by anyone. That's why they would ask you strictly only to go into their private domain on their website to ask for a personal confidential ticket that you know yourself well if you had a brain in between your two eyes, inside your head, over, and just right there, to understand if I ever make a confidential ticket, a personal confidential ticket to staff members, to, like, you know, the server, that only you and the staff members can see, they can manipulate any way they want. They can deny any request that you have to make. They can accept it. They can just respond to it and then ignore it and close the ticket. Like some people have already stated, yeah, I made a ticket on this. They said, thank you for a report, and then they closed my ticket. And I'm like, wait, is the issue gonna be taken, like, to action or something? And they're like, oh, please don't discuss anything here. We don't want to hear about. Yeah, do you know why they say this? Is because they don't want whatever is written confidentially to be exposed to whoever else has their own experience to then make a rebellion. Because if everyone starts knowing anything, oh, trust me, the server's gonna go down faster than Hotfire. And that's already a reason why the server is going down. And I cannot tell you how many members are on Skyblock Network right now, because they merged both servers together to make it look like they're about the same people. Since it would anyways give a different ping between one server and the other to say, oh, this server has 1626 members and this server has 1632 members, so it's not anyways accurate because, oh, there's more members here than here. Oh, we're doing better here because we made the merge. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's so exciting. And there are reasons why this happens. Because they don't want to deal with the BS that they know is going on. That's why when they know something's BS, they will do anything to stop you from continuing. Whether it means to immediately go into a fallback resort of saying, stop causing drama on our server, fallback 2, saying, please change the topic, or fallback 3, 4, 5, etc., to make sure that the truth doesn't get exposed within their server. I mean, it only makes sense. It only makes sense it happens that way. And it's unfortunate that they don't want to address these issues the way it has to be addressed as soon as possible. Will I think SBN's gonna change? I mean, sure it is changing, but for the worse. Will it ever get better? I don't know. Will it get better after this video? I can honestly say this right now. If anyone a part of that community, as a higher up, as a staff member or over, requests something against this video, then I'm sorry. I don't take it personally against you for who you guys are. I just taken it personally against the community. That they will do anything wrong that they will think is right. And the fact that they said, well, please stop accusing us of like doing our job incorrectly, well, I'm sorry, but you are. Okay? There is no human in the world that will just immediately fall into like a resort to say, hey, you're doing this against us, we don't want that anymore, and then immediately bam. Okay, great, but how about my dead ancestors that I've mentioned 7 times? I've mentioned it 7 times in front of that sole staff member who told me the same thing of please make a confidential ticket, otherwise don't bring this up in our server, this is confidential and we don't want to discuss anything here. Yeah, you know why? It's because they don't want the truth within their words to be exposed for other members to read it, to be like, oh, but you said this differently to me though, or oh, they do this because they know something's wrong with the server and people are already speaking shit about the server. Just do they want to know about it within their own server for any new members to understand that it's going to hell the way it is? Of course they don't want that to happen. I mean, I know I wouldn't. In my server, in my Discord, in my Minecraft, in my Twitch or whatnot. Of course I wouldn't want that to happen, but at least I would take the courtesy initiation to understand what the hell is going on, to understand, okay, why is this going on, and then I'll take the initiative. But of course I cannot say anything about the owners, because I have almost as much respect as I have no care about them. It's like a neutral phase of, I don't know them, so I don't care. But if you know the staff members well enough, and how biased they are, then I'm sorry, everything that goes on in the server will be taken so personally for granted, that you will wonder to yourself, excuse me, but why is this happening? And the more you wonder, the more you know. And of course, I have to bring this up as a video, as I've wanted to do a few weeks ago, because that warn, specifically alone, went too far. First of all, when I was sleeping, and then finally that mod brought up today, right, because it was ended up bringing up the fact that a member literally said, yeah, you know, I'm not joining SBN because of, you know, what's going on. And because the whole conversation of that was being brought up, finally the mod member picked on me because they know that I've already been warned recently, so that means I'm still hot on the topic, like Condition 6 Need for Speed Most Wanted cops, freaking the final pursuit in your BMW M3, where you're like, oh my god, we have to take care of him because we know he's the problem. We don't want to look at anyone else, we don't want to look anywhere else, we just want to think that's the problem. They're only going to look at what they believe is wrong in the members of the community, but they're not going to look at what's wrong within themselves. And they never will, because if they do, the server would change, right? It would change for the better. I don't think that's what they want. But what am I to say? If I know that they're motivated enough to give a change, to give a care, and to care enough that this server itself would be growing, to the point that finally there will be a new update to say, oh, we're not merging the servers together anymore, so we're going to have both things separate again, because SBN's finally flourishing the way it's going right now, finally, because we've heard about the changes that we need to be done. You know, would they want that to happen? At this point, the owners don't care, and the staff members are taking it upon themselves as initiation to try their best. But unfortunately, their motivation is dying. I don't know why, I don't know how, and I cannot know how, And I won't know how. And I won't bust my head thinking for the next 6 months on why I think their motivation is dying. Because why would I think about that? I mean, I care as much right now about the community enough to make a video about all the problems that I had to address within the past 2 weeks alone, of the no cares given by the staff members, except if it's something that offends them personally in a professional way against the server, that they'll finally take care of it. But besides that, why should they? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that I had to go this far to make a video like this. Again, read the text that you see on the screen right now, and understand that if you don't allow the right to free speech within the server, you cannot and you don't have the power to bring it out there in the open world, to bring your power against someone. Because it's like a criminal walking into jail, where literally any prisoner or any guard has all the power they want against the prisoner. But if that prisoner were to lure one cop into their domain of bad guys, criminals, and the worst ever people you would ever imagine, who do you think gets outpowered? Who do you think gets overpowered over who? It only makes sense. That is why they want you to go into their domain to make a report. Because if you don't go into their domain, they're going to tell you, please don't bring it up to the public because we don't want to address these issues here. And the only main reason I know now why that they don't want to bring it up finally is because if they bring it up out there, and they keep bringing it up out there, I mean, first of all, new members, because they're new and they're young, would immediately come to the point of understanding or thinking, guy's a psychopath. I'm still going to keep playing the server until you finally grow the experience to know the experience that's going on in other members that have been playing even longer than me in this server. Finally, you will consider twice. And it is unfortunate. It is highly unfortunate. Is there anything else that I should bring up? At this point, I don't know. I think I've already said enough. Coming to the bias of the report that I've made a year ago, and only which that report against that moderator only promoted them for allowing a member, the highest, most respected member of the server, to grieve. Where even further on, that if they keep bringing over and over the same response of, if you have something against a staff member, please bring it to a support ticket. Okay, sure, I'll bring it to a support ticket. Next thing you know, they get promoted. Because, oh, good job. Good job, dude. It's okay. The player's just having a bad day. It's okay. Pat on the back. Pity, pity. I mean, beautiful. Should I have anything else to say? I don't know. But I want to tell you this right now. The first warn that I got off of their server, no general rudeness, through specifically server reactions. I'm sorry. It confuses me. How can you start drama through reactions? It's like reacting with letters to really make sure that the person constantly keeps sending messages. First of all, if you're reacting, you're just reacting. Server reactions is called reactions for a reason. It's not called reactions to be called you're using it to start drama. If you react to something, you're not the one starting it. First of all. Actually, second of all, really. If you're reacting, that means you're reacting to something that has started. And then you get warned for something that was started by someone that you reacted to? Especially considering that you've reacted against a staff member for something wrong that they've done against a member with what they have done that they didn't even think was offensive until the moderator brought up, please, this has been done by this guy, don't bug us about it, go back to this chat. Okay, whoa, they just mentioned once, one reaction, one suggestion of can you possibly check over, the chances of the crates, because I feel like this is happening, because I'm getting more of this than I'm getting this, only to get a response, please don't bug us about it, this has been tested, go back here. Whoa! The attitude coming from rudeness, coming from its own attitude itself. I'm sorry, but whoa! That... And then I get warned. And then, by the way, I get warned for the general rudeness. Right now, I could have been chilling, playing with a friend, streaming for a friend. Unfortunately, after having a short conversation, that one moderator couldn't stop bringing up against me, saying, please, you're causing drama, or whatever BS they had to say that I only had 2 seconds to read, because I was more interested in the conversation of the guy that I was speaking with about the year 2006 and how Need for Speed and San Andreas were out already, only to get banned. Oh my god. The hell? Okay. Thank you. You saved my life, I guess. But hey, if you have problems now, if I have problems against the server, it's easy to play against me, especially considering that if I would be in their confidential ticket to say, I'm sorry for the actions I've committed, but this I feel is wrong, and I know I've done this wrong. As long as you bring up the fact that they've done wrong, they will think that they have not done anything wrong, that they're alright. Like YouTube's AdSense bug that happened with Hugbees like a few months ago, when he addressed that there was a bug in their system that kept resetting his account to someone else's account. Maybe someone hacked into it, and he wanted to address what the problem was. Maybe it was a bug, maybe someone hacked in his account, so on, only for them to say, there is never a bug in our system, so that is all on you. Whoa, okay, shit, sorry that I brought it up, but thanks for the disrespect that came with it. Only for me to get called on disrespect. I'm sorry. But I have more respect for the members in that server who have left the moderation team at this point. Because anyone who I see as a mod, who has the name mod written next to them, I cannot look at them straight. I would see whoever it is, I will look at their actions, and if I deem it's offensive, unprofessional, or in any way against what a typical moderator should be, I'm sorry, but I will not see them as a mod. Of course, I haven't brought up the fact of please give me an actual mod after saying that, after a mod's responded to me, because that would be personally offensive. And I'm not that type of person to do that. So immediately, I'm already telling you right now that me being generally rude, what kind of BS is that? What I find personally that's rude, again, I'm bringing this up, what I find is rude is the fact that I get warned literally a day after the passing of my rabbit. Literally, I had to put him in a box and put him outside just to let him there until the winter ends so I can bury him in the spring. I have to deal with that problem. On top of that, I have to deal with the fact that literally a moderator will not be honest with me because we feel that our report's correct. They didn't even bring up the fact that if you feel that there's an issue, like they've brought up already months ago to other people when they had motivation back then, when they said, if you feel that there's something wrong, please make a ticket and we'll look into it. Now they've told me directly, we believe our report's correct. Even after sending me a link to their confidential support ticket system. So what's the point of sending me a link to their confidential support if anyways you think that your report's correct? I'm sorry, there's so much things wrong that I cannot bring up myself. So if anyone has any issues that they have, I'm begging you, please let us know. Please let me know. Please let everyone know in the comments below. Because I'm sorry. But the staff team, as of this moment, is officially biased and has issues that they know they have issues. They just don't want to admit it. And that's where dishonesty comes in. And with dishonesty just comes the lack of motivation. And that's what SBN staff is missing. Motivation. They're not motivated to keeping the server alive and flourishing as it should be. Instead, if they don't like someone from whatever response they give, they will get rid of them. And they'll do that to anyone without giving a care in the world of who they are. Except if it was someone who's literally loved by every other member in the server, that literally if anyone made an appeal, even if this person made an appeal, and even if someone who's a friend of theirs is a mod member, whatever report that they've received that they banned the person for, whether it's griefing, x-raying, hacking, fly hacking, TP killing, just killing the whole session with /kill with some hack or whatnot, doesn't matter. Because they're friends with that mod staff team, whatever, they're gonna get unbanned in seconds. But if they don't know you and they think you're just an ordinary person, just, doing something, and they believe you've done something wrong, as soon as they believe you've done something wrong, it immediately means you have done something wrong, and they'll get rid of you the fastest they could. And that's why their server is dying to the point that they really needed to merge with Performium. I didn't even know how to start this video, but at this point I'm glad I'm laying this out. If anyone has something to say about SBN, please, I'm saying it again, let me know in the comments below. And this is within SBN's Discord server and YouTube. If this goes as far as going into the actual Minecraft server or into the actual Skyblock Network forums, then I'm sorry. That means you're taking it so personal that you know something's wrong. You just don't want to address it because you have the lack of motivation to understand that you have problems. That you only want to get rid of whoever wants to admit that you're causing a problem faster than addressing that you are actually making a problem worse. You just don't have the motivation anymore. Is there anything else I have to say after this? Again, I'll finish off by saying, if you have something to say, whether it's a personal experience of your own, or if you have even any information that you've gotten from anyone that I've already heard for months after months of people saying, yeah, I was friends with this guy who was a mod member, but then he quit, or this guy was friends with him, or this guy was friends and he became mod, and this guy was whatever. If anything happens, if whatever you have to say, please, the comment section is available down below. And I'm saying this directly to those who feel they want to take action. I'm speaking for the right to free speech. If you want to deny my right to free speech, then I'm sorry. You've lost all respect. And I will make another video on this, saying that you officially break the constitutional law of international human rights. And that would be very far. And I'm very sorry, but I really hope you don't go that far. So please, consider all the actions that you guys have done, specifically staff members, and think about it. Because I know I've done wrong in the extent of understanding that, first of all, I shouldn't be picking through reactions to start drama. If that even somehow exists. Because somehow I can start drama through reactions. But I'll understand that if I start drama through reacting, hey, that's a legal offense in Skyblock Network's Discord. I'm sorry for doing that. But if you have to call me on being rude, for being rude against a member for a suggestion that they brought up, only for you guys not to look into it because you're too unmotivated to take care of it, I'm sorry. But please, I really hope this video wakes you guys up. And I hope the comments below, over time, whenever people read it, and start typing out their own experience. I hope that wakes you up too. Because right now, I can feel so bad for this community that I try to respect, to help, to care about, to be friends with, only to be treated differently back by only every single member possible that I can think of, except the first few friends that I've ever met since September of this year. Just please, take this video as a wake-up call that Skyblock Network is failing the way it is right now. Specifically because of the staff members and their lack of motivation and their disrespect. It's a lack of honor, and it's a huge downfall, and it's a huge degrading cause of depression for whoever wants to even suggest anything just to be told off in an unprofessional yet respectful, in their own favor way, to say, please don't bug us about it ever again. If you guys have something to say, the comments is available down below. But for the rest of the night, I'm gonna relax. I'm glad I got this out. I'm glad I'm gonna get this uploaded. But again, please, if you have something to say it. And don't keep it inside. Alright? Thank you guys so much. And if I have to make a part 2, I will have no choice, but I will do it the soonest I could. See you guys on the next upload.